Hello there, Chris here from Border Models, and you're wondering why have I got this thing back on the bench, the 1/32 scale Avro Lancaster from Border Models. Well, I've got a happy update. Two things to talk about today actually in this part 2 series of doing this. Well, the most disappointing kit of 2022, as I stated last year, and I still hold to that, as much as I've had some critique and criticism saying that I'm being a bit of a whiner, bit of a whinger, bit of a complainer. Yes, it's not a Wingnut Wings kit, I realise that, but you did pay Wingnut Wings prices for it, and it did not, to my expectations, and I know I am not a technical aircraft modeler, I'm an actual aircraft modeler, i.e. I don't build them wheels down, I build them wheels up. So it doesn't really suit me completely, because as I found in the last review, they designed this on purpose to have the wheel wells permanently open, and also the bomb bay, I think from memory. Anyway, the major problem with this kit, and everyone's found this, or not everyone, but at least half the people who bought this, the so-called limited run edition of this kit, is that the clear parts weren't packaged properly, and they weren't molded properly. And Border Models have come out and said, and I've tried to talk to them, and this has been a saga. I've tried to contact them to get new replacement parts because mine were crushed on delivery. I'll show you them in a minute, and I showed them last year in the review. But also, some people got replacements and other people like me didn't, and Border Models just refused to talk to me until about a week ago, until after I just went haywire on their social media. I tried to email and tried to contact them, blah blah blah, got nothing. And then I got some really great advice, and I spoke to someone at Hobbies Australia, who run Frontline Hobbies, and lo and behold, they have sent me in that box a brand new set of clear parts. Now, they have warned me that they are not perfect. But they are better than the original ones. So that's the purpose of this video. We're going to have a look at the new ones that's unopened. I haven't opened them yet. Here are the old crappy ones. The crushed ones. I mean, there you go, there's a big crush there. I'm throwing them off because they're that rubbish. And look at the main canopy, cracked right through the middle. Crack. Yep. Packaged. Oh, they put this on there, that's nice, but the box wasn't bloody big enough. So of course, and it came in a massive cardboard box, but the actual box, the kit box, wasn't big enough. So they were on the top, and so crushed. Yeah, stupid, incompetent, unprofessional of Border Models to do that, and I'll stand by that, don't care what they say. So let's hope that and the other thing is, yeah, the other set of clear parts, I've got to get my thoughts together. I'm a bit peeved off. A lot of these clear parts, I'll show you in a minute, like, here's this panel here. It's got a big seam running through it, a big cooling action. They've come out on social media, and in fact, when you buy the nose kit from them, which costs, $300 for God's sakes, the nose kit parts has the same clear parts as these, more or less, and they're not very good. Simple as that. They're not very good, because I don't think Border Models know how to do clear parts properly, or something. I mean, Airfix does a better job, and I don't think Airfix are really that good. Trumpeter does a better job. Everybody does a better job than Border Models, so I'm very disappointed with them and that. And they say, oh, you can't really see it, whatever. Anyway, the next part of disappointment to look at, I've already looked at these, the Tori Factory figure set for the Lancaster. And when these first came out, I was ecstatic, because I'm like, oh, look at that, full set. And you can get these in 148, 172 scale too. It's got a full crew. Wow, fantastic. Bloody expensive. I don't know how much that is in, what's that, 54,000 yuan or renminbi or whatever. But these were not cheap. So I'm going to review those as well, because I already know that they're not that good. If I get time, depending on if the kids get home, because it's almost school time, they're about to come home and interrupt my peace and quiet, I might get out the parts out of the kit and see if they actually fit in the seats, because that's the bane of my existence being an actual aircraft modeler, is when you try to fit aftermarket pilots to a kit, 80% of the time they don't fit, and you have to modify them. So it's another thing you have to do to bring the kit back up to the standard of an actual aircraft kit. So without, you can tell that I'm a bit peeved, let's segue into opening the box, and hopefully they are decent in there. Let's open the box and see what we get. I got these parts for free. I just had a fantastic phone call with the great people there at Hobbies Australia, at Frontline. I've bought kits off them in the past, many kits. I've always been happy. They always have come through, and yeah, I can't say, can't recommend them enough. And a little hat tip there to Paul Skews, who actually put me onto them. He used to be in the trade, and he said, yeah, just hit up Frontline. I'm sure they've got spare parts. I'm sure they got some, because they had the, ooh, look at that. We're getting some box within a box. It's actually in the Border Models box. All right, let me get rid of this box. Smash. Let's zoom in for another look. Oh, it's riveting, isn't it? Opening boxes. Have I turned into one of those idiot influencers like, oh, smash that like button, subscribe? I don't say any of that. If you want to subscribe, you're an adult. If you don't know how to press the subscribe button, if you don't know how to find out when you get notifications, I can't help you, okay? You're all adults, you know what to do. If you don't like the video, don't press this like button. If you like the video, press like. If you couldn't care less, don't do anything. Just watch the bloody video. Alright, we get 2 sleeves that look exactly like the other one. Oh no. Hang on, let's do the rattle, see if anything's loose. Oh, nothing's loose on that one. Put that very carefully over there. What about this one? Oh, nothing. It's not like an Airfix kit where you pull it out and it's like, you know, it's like the cucaracha coming. You know, it's just rattling like buggery. Okay, what do we get? Come on, I'm actually nervous about this. Here's the main canopy. Oop, oh, we got a piece loose. Far out. Look at that. Is it okay though? Now, before I started this video, I should have grabbed my little piece of the black foam so you can actually see the quality of what I'm talking about. So, we've got a crack. Yep, look at that. Crack. Have I got the same crack on my old parts? I'm going to look at the old ones. Where are they? Which one? Which part is that? Sorry. Entertain yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Where is it? This one. Alright. Have I got the same crack? No, I don't. So I'm not throwing that one out. So that one's actually good. Oh, bloody hell. Let's tighten this up so you can have a look. Okay. Alright, all black? We're all black? Okay, so that's the new one. Excuse my dog hair, that's probably on there as well. Yep, there's burrs on the inside of the... Can you see that on the inside there? Yeah, and that's cracked at the sprue point. And there's scratches on that lower panel there. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Alright, let's look at the main canopy, because I've seen... Have you watched Tom Grigat's his stop motion build of this kit? Absolutely fantastic. And if you're going to build this kit, just save that video somewhere, because it's fantastic just as a guide to show you how it actually goes together. Now, there is a dog hair on there. That's my dog, not a Chinese dog, I hope. Yeah. Yep, we've got... I won't use that. I was going to use my knife as a pointy sticky. So we've got a bit of a mark here in this lower panel. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. I can see it. Yeah, it's distorted. It's not a very good panel. The rest of them, okay. We've got scuff marks at the top. What else we got on this side? Whoop, in camera, Chris. They want to see that. They don't want to see your dirty thumbs. And excuse my dirty thumbs. I have been gardening. I've been mowing. And anyone who complains about that, you can get stuffed. I live on acreage. I need to mow, I need to do maintenance, and I don't have time to wash my hands all the time. I do cut my nails for you though. How's that? Now this panel has the exact same effing problem as the old one, which is a big scratch through the middle of it. Or does it? Yeah, it does. There it is. I can see it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Through there? Okay. The old one's got it too. I won't show you that. Jesus. It's not too bad, it'll do. Alright, I'm just going to quickly go around. Yeah, there's another one there in this one. Okay, there's a scratch line through there, or a cooling line or something. So yeah, Border Models. I'm not buying any of your kits. I've got one of your Stukas. It looked okay in the box, but it's, you know, it's a stupid scale, 1/35th, so, and with no pilots, no crew, so how can I get my 132 pilots? Yeah, I could get them in, I guess. But yep, there's another scratch in there, another cooling fault in there. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it on camera there. It's going across from that sprue attachment point to there. Not good enough. Yeah, and I don't recommend their kits. Just on principle. Bad professionalism, and just poor quality. It's not good enough. Sorry, not in this day and age. And also, I mean, on a, that's just on an objective level. On a subjective level, I really hate the fact that they're, with their new releases, they're all going for, hey, wow, look at this brand, this fantastic, all the internal parts and all the engine parts and all the cockpit parts and everything. Yeah, but they don't engineer the kit to be wheels up, because they think that everyone just wants to do a display, and that's why they're doing 135th aircraft, because they want people to go, oh, put your Kugelwagen next to us, make a diorama of it getting maintained. I'm like, that's effing boring. Well, for me it is, but anyway. The other sprue looks a little bit better. Or does it? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just having a look. So that's the, there is a bit of, is that a scratch or a hair? No, it's a scratch. There you go, another cooling scratch just underneath there. Although I think this one, that dome, radar dome's painted opaque, so it's not too bad. Some of these, yeah, those gun turrets actually pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. That's fairly clear. That's actually better quality than the originals. And that's what they told me at Frontline. They said, hey, look, they have improved them slightly, but they're not perfect. I mean, the clarity on these, I mean, on these panels, for example, I should really put it on the blue matte. You know, you can see it's getting distorted. It's not that good. It's not what you'd expect for, you know, what you pay for this sort of kit and expectations of high quality, you're not getting it, frankly. There's another major scratch. I don't know, I can't remember what this part's for here. There's a big scratch or a cooling. There it is there. Can you see it on this one? On this panel? Get a glare out of these lights, sorry. But there's another one going across there like that. So better than the other sprue, but still not good enough. Alright, I'll stop complaining. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but there it is. At least the main canopy is not cracked like on my original one. So there's the new one. Okay, and the old one. This is a nice little tiny fixable crack through there. Took me 6 months to get replacement parts, and it was only because I had to, you know, I was given a tip by someone to say, hey, just ask the Aussie distributor. I was like, oh, maybe I should have done it from the start. Anyway, let's put these aside and I'll get out these figures and we'll have a look at these next. Let's have a look at this crew from Tori Factory. They've changed their name a couple of times. I think they're also called ZLPLA. I've bought another set of their figures before and they're not too bad. Yeah, so these are actually Korean. Okay, and they're 3D printed. And you can see that almost straight away because you can see some of the support structures coming on there, so it needs to be removed. So let's look at the little diagram first. So you get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 figures for the crew, plus you get some oxygen hoses. So hopefully they're in the right poses. I will, like I said at the start, I'll try to get the parts out of the kit to get them. Anyway, I don't like this. This is not good enough. Okay, if you watched my rear doke review where each one was, each figure was bubble wrapped and put into a, what do you call it? One of those separate plastic, hard plastic containers. These are just all shoved together like that, which is not good because you can get some breakages. I do admire the fact that, you know, it's smaller packaging and so forth. That's not too bad, but yeah, come on guys. I mean, you're paying upwards of $100 Australian for these figures in 132 scale. So let's have a look at them, hey? I'll just separate them. Oh, he's lost his legs. No, it's not Douglas Bader. It's I wonder why they did that. Why is that one for? That's for the middle gunner. Ah, okay, yeah, so you can get him through the thing. So I'm just going to separate these. Okay, you got a tray of oxygen hoses. Let me just what's the word for arranging? Knoll them. Okay, let's knoll them. There we go. Oh, the camera is saying hello. Let's tighten up a bit. So there we are. So at first glance, these look, if I can put them in camera, Chris, these look quite nice. So there's all the 3D supports coming off. No, it's not cordyceps. Yes, I've been watching a bit too much Last of Us. Yeah, they look really tall. Now, is that too much for criticism? I don't think so. The thing you got to realise is, especially English people or British people of World War II, average height was about 5'6". Okay, there weren't very many tall people, and Americans were 5'8", I believe, back then. So you got to be careful when you're trying to transpose, modern. I mean, the average in Britain now is probably closer to 5'9". Average American's nearly 6 foot tall. Yeah, so he looks really, really long, really tall, and he's got a bit of an indent here under his shoulder. Now, what am I looking at here? Facial expression doesn't look too bad. They've got some very thin goggles molded on. I mean, overall, I like the fact that it's one piece. That's really good. He's got his life jacket and everything else on, so that's not too bad. I want to look at some of the other figures next. So I think this is the navigator or the flight engineer, perhaps. Yep. Okay. Hopefully you're seeing that properly. It's not getting washed out. The detail's pretty good, but like I said, very long torsos on these gentlemen. Luckily, you don't have to worry too much about painting faces on these because they'll be covered by hoses and masks and so forth. It's quite shiny. You see how the material's shiny. It needs a good wash because it's out of the 3D printer. The detail's pretty good. It's nowhere near the level of Reardoke, the other 3D printer manufacturer. It's actually, the folds are okay, but they're not that crisp. They're not as good as I expect from Reardoke. I mean, they're still, miles apart better than any you'll get out of ejection plastic. Although Hasegawa, like I said, seems to be able to do a really good job with ejection plastic. I think this is the pilot. He's got his oxygen hose attached, which is great. Yeah, I'm not seeing too good facial sort of quality on that. I might put a bit of primer on this and see what it's like. The rest of the figure's pretty good. The hands look okay. Yeah, not too bad. All right, let's keep going. What else have we got here? Or is that the pilot? No, this is the pilot. Okay. So the facial expression on him is a little bit better. And yeah, his straps, that's really good. So the straps are molded in. See that? See how they come around like that? So it won't be too much of an issue. Hopefully he fits the seat all right. This is another benefit of having a crew, ladies and gents. You don't need to buy seatbelts because they've got them molded on normally. You can just paint them. That's pretty good. I might carve out his sleeves though, just underneath there, just for a bit of relief. What else have we got? Let's just keep going. This one's got a lot of 3D supports. Can you see the supports there? Okay, so I think that must be the wireless operator or the navigator, of course. Yeah, he's got a pencil or something in hand and a ruler in his hand. There we are. That's pretty good actually. It's a good pose. Looks like he'll be sitting down quite nicely. He's got his oxygen hose there. So that looks pretty good. A lot of these figures won't actually be seen, which is a shame unless you're doing a cutaway or something, which is something I was almost considering doing if I was going to get a second kit, but I'm not going to now. I'm not going to buy any more Border Models rubbish and go through that again. So he looks pretty good, that gunner. He's got some really good detail. Unfortunately, all the faces look the same. There's no sort of variety. So, yeah, but that's par for the course, I guess. There's the oxygen hoses, which look pretty good. There's the 3D sports. It's got to cut off. They come off really easily with any basic sprue cutter. So overall, first glance, they look okay. They look pretty good. The only downsides I can see is the faces, but maybe I'll get a bit of primer on them. I need to give them a wash because they're obviously still. And actually give you in your little noticing here that says contains product used sandpaper to trim. Doesn't say to wash them at all, but I'd give them just a little bit of a wash just to clear away the last bit of resin and material and so forth. So yeah, first glance okay. The next thing I need to do, get some parts out, see if they actually fit on their respective seats. So this is how the pilot sits in the pilot seat, and all I've done is just cleared away a little bit of a sprue gate there just so his legs can get in there, and yeah, the fit, if I can get my chunky sausage fingers out of the way, is not too bad. I might have to I don't want to take the seat off the sprue because you know what'll happen, I will lose it. So I'm just trying to fit him on as per, get in there mate. He fit before when he was off camera, doesn't it always happen? Alright, I don't think it's going to be too bad. He has to go over that lip there, but his harnesses go to the back of the seat pretty good, but there is a bit of a gap there between the seat and himself. I might have to, because of that lip, let's remove him. See how there's a lip there, I think. Is that the flare rack? I can't remember. I might have to just modify that or make a bit of a bigger divot underneath his knees there. So that's not too bad. If I flip this over, we get and I've got to get the orientation correct. The navigator's seat, so I've done the same thing here. I've just removed the sprue gate so he can come over here, chap. He can sit in there. So he sits in there like so. So it looks like they've got the scale right. They're not 1/35, they're proper 1/32, and he sits in that seat nicely. I've done only a tiny bit of cleanup of underneath his butt, of a few things in there, but that looks pretty good so far. So let's move on to some of the other parts. Moving to the Bombardier, he rests on these cushions and a fold down, I think it's fold down or whatever, armrest there, so he's sort of that way, and that's also still on this A sprue. So if I can just find it, where is it? Down here, without removing the parts again. So, and he's also got, the way they've molded those straps hanging down, they sort of get in the way, but he's sort of supposed to be lying prone there like that. And where's the other half? There's supposed to be up here. We go, this little nicely molded armrest for him to be on, so that goes on there like that. So yeah, depending on how I don't want to assemble it fully together, but it seems that they have actually molded it properly, so that he's resting on his arms there like that, if I'm getting the right angle. So that's good. And then the other one I've got is the flight engineer, and he basically just sits on a fold out seat, which is on this side, I believe. So it's B24, which is the other massive sprue. So I just got to get that one out, which is right here, which has all the canopy framing and so forth. So that's B sprue, B24, so many parts, or 20, there it is there. So it's just a fold out seat, and he just sits on there like so. So yep, no modification whatsoever there. Looks quite good. All right, I also have got the lower half of the gunner, which you can use for the upper gun or middle gun, they sometimes call it, and also for the front gun. So again, they use, it's sort of like the seat on it, here it is here, is sort of like a little cradle. Okay, so here it is down here under my finger, and they just sort of sit in there, and yep, it's the right size. It's got to get around that other part, but you can get the idea that works there, and it's a similar part on the rear as well. So I think that's pretty much about it. Depending on how many of these you want to put in, I'm just having a look through the instructions. So yeah, the front turret has that cradle there, A64, and I'll just quickly go to there's the rear fuselage. So we need to go to the rear turret. Where is it? These damn wheel well doors. Rear turret, where are you? Inner engines. Here we go, rear turret. So they give you, and also the upper turret. It's very, very similar parts. So the upper turret has this sort of cradle here as well, which is the same, almost the same piece as the one I just showed you. So you can put it in either or. And then the rear turret is slightly different. So where are you, chap? There he is. He's slightly hunched over. There he is. I just need to find the seat for him. I think he does sit on a seat of some sort. Kind of. Yep, there it is, I-16. Okay, so there's the seat there. I just need to go find it. Give me a second. Well, that was easy. There's his little perch, his little seat, and he just sits in there like that. Let's see if I can get a proper angle so you can actually see him. You're going to stay there? What am I going to call you? George. Here you go, George. He just sits there like that. Yep, they've molded his posterior correctly. He's only got a very small seat to perch on there, and right in the back there, the rear gunner. That's one of the not safest parts of the aircraft. In fact, I remember reading somewhere that some statistician said you should just get rid of all the gunners and don't carry all the ammunition, and you'll go 50 miles an hour faster. Anyway, that's pretty much it, I think, for all the figures. And I must say, without putting a bit of primer on them, I'm fairly impressed, and they will look fine underneath already distorted and not too good glass from Border Models. So let me just gather my thoughts and we'll wrap this video up. So there we have it. The new clear parts are in, and it's a solid 5 out of 7. It's one of my favorite rating systems out there. It's never going to be out of 10 because they're just not good enough. And the new ones I've got and the old ones I've got, I should be able to cobble together a complete set of clear parts. So the kit can go ahead and can be constructed. The crew are pretty good as well. I would give it even a higher mark, 8 out of 10. They look really good. Again, you're not going to really see much of them under the glass, which is distorted, and unless you're doing a cutaway, for example. But it's good to have them there. It gives it the dynamism. I can't say that word, even though I should know it. And apart from maybe the Bombardier that might need a little bit of modification, it looks like they all fit their seats and their parts correctly. Just on dry fit, that's really, really good. That's one of the things that I wipe my brow and go, phew. Unlike, say, a trumpeter kit where you have to give them an ankledectomy or you have to reduce the height of their helmet because the canopy won't close with even a shorter than expected crew in there. So my closing thoughts are I'm now one step closer to actually starting this kit. The next fly in the ointment is, if you've been following my channel, I bought a 3D printer before Christmas, and I will not start this kit until I have sorted out those wheel wells. So the wheel wells, just to reiterate, I'll just go to the page. Where is it? I should know it because it's burned into the memory. Okay, the wheel wells there are designed with the doors molded in, down. Okay, so you build the nacelle up and then the wheel well doors go straight in like that. They're not designed to be closed, so I'm going to have to build, design, modify, do something to those doors because I want this in flight. So that's the next stage. So the next video you'll see from me is my process on how I fire up my 3D printer, fire up my 30-year-old CAD skills that I've got when I did graphic design back in high school and university, first university, and see if I can actually design or modify these parts to make them wheels up. And until I can do that, I'm not starting the kit. But I'm glad I got the clear parts, glad I got the figures. So with that, thanks again for watching another update, and happy modeling.